Hey fam, this week coming at you with a tricky topic, and that topic is intentions versus intentionality. So the thing about intention, right? A lot of times you'll hear like the road to hell was paved with good intentions, and intentions are really like a psychological state of being. If you Google, there's like a huge, not debate, but there's a whole bunch of information on being intentional versus intentionality. And the real difference is intentions are your like thought process that goes into intentionality, which is actually your state of being, right? So if you, it's like thinking about running versus actually running. That's intentions versus intentionality. So sure, you meant well, but you did poorly. Your intentions were good, your intentionality was crap. See how that works? And like I said, having been there, I'm talking to you about stuff I've done or learned the hard way. A lot of the stuff that I'm talking to you about, I learned the hard way. So intentionality, living in intentionality is more important, I think, than having good intentions. Because you can have good intentions and still do something wrong, do something immoral, do something hurtful, do something selfish. Even though you didn't mean to be selfish, you still were, right? That's intentions. And they're good. It's good to have good intentions, but it's better to live in a good intentionality state of being. Also, just side note, intentions are not motivations. What you're motivated by is not what you intend to do, which we can talk about at a different time, but just so you know, intentions, so I'll give you an example. I intended to work out this morning. Well, you know how well that went? It didn't. I got up at 4 a.m. and I loafed around until 6 and fed the animals, all my stuff, but my intentions were good. My intentionality was crap, right? So intentionality is really the follow through. It's the way in which you live your life. So that's why I want to focus this week on intentionality, because I think it's so much more important to have good intentionality than it is to have good intentions. Intentionality is living your life in the right way, in a disciplined way, right? It's almost always, I mean, I was gonna say it's almost always good, but I guess you could have bad intentionality too. I don't know of anybody that isn't like a serial killer, a sociopath, like inherently sort of deviant, I guess we'll call it deviant. Your average person, I would say, is not going around with bad intentionality, right? Your average person has good intentions and did a bad thing, right? I think. So I'm going to speak to you as though you are an average person. You're not somebody who is wise to do evil, because we have that out here, right? I mean, the Bible tells us we have people who are wise to be wicked. And I think you can see that that is definitely true. People who are serial killers, people who are sociopaths, people who rape children, yeah, that's sex trafficking. That's a huge issue that's going on now. That's bad intentionality, right? They're intending to be bad and they are bad. I'm not talking to those people because that's I don't understand it. I don't know how someone could be that way. So I'm talking to those of you who mean well, who want to do well, who want to be helpful, who maybe get caught up in your human experience, but you really mean well and you're really trying to do good. That's who I'm talking to. That's, in my mind, the average human. I maybe that's me being optimistic and naive, but that's who I'm talking to. I'm assuming that's who's watching this. I don't imagine a lot of like sociopaths being like, hey, let me learn about, you know, being accountable. That's probably not happening, right? So, but that's, you know, that is a thing. Bad people are out there. And I'm not one of them. Contrary to anything that you might have heard or you might think, I'm not. And I know why. And that is because my intentions are always good. Sometimes my motives are, you know, flawed, or my actions are flawed, but my intentions are good, my heart is in the right place. And that's important, because when that happens, the next step is good intentionality. So you should have good intentions, but you have to follow it up with good intentionality, because good intentionality comes with discipline. And that's a topic for, a few weeks from now. We'll talk more about discipline, but intentionality comes from, success comes out of intentionality. Anybody that you know who is successful, not just monetarily. I'm not talking about people who have money. Those are great. That's great. People have money and that's awesome. But I'm talking about people who have wealth, who have a successful, balanced, and the kind of life that they want. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about people who work 90 hours a week and have a whole bunch of money and they're CEOs and they got that money, screwing a whole bunch of other people over. That's not good intentionality. And those people, more often than not, really aren't happy, or they have so much stock in material items, they're kind of neglecting their personal, emotional, spiritual growth. And I'm not down for that, right? I'm trying to talk to people who want spiritual growth, who want emotional growth, who want to be their best selves, and then the money follows, right? Like, good things happen when you have good intentionality. And any I don't even want to say CEO, but like entrepreneur, any investor, any person who is well known. I mean, Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, any of the sharks on Shark Tank, like, they'll all tell you there's something that comes with good intentionality that produces a good mindset, that produces good money. So money is important. It's a thing. We should want to have money. It's not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. Just so you know, it's biblical. But money itself is just a tool. Just like technology is a tool, just like anything is a tool, it's all in how you use it. If you stay balanced with good intentionality, then things usually pan out pretty nicely. That's not to say things won't go badly at times. Life happens. But good intentionality, things work to the good for those who have good intentionality. Often, anybody will tell you it's not in how you fall, it's in how you rise. Everybody's going to fall, everybody's going to get knocked down. And whether you get knocked down or whether you fall on your own, you have a couple options. Stay down, crawl away, or get back up and keep walking, right? Like, good intentionality helps the bad times be better. So when I say good intentionality, which I've said a couple times now, it's, like I said, it's a state of being. It's how you function. And so your intentions are followed through to fruition, to action. And this has a little bit to do with choices that we talked about in week maybe 3 now. We're already on week 6, I know. And just so you know, the seasons are like we'll call them seasons. Because you know how like Netflix is season 1 and you have like 20 episodes. That is something I'm going to do too. It's almost like semesters, I guess. So we can call them semesters, we can call them seasons, but it'll be changing, because this is all seasons. This is all seasonal growth, seasons of life, things to help you through those hard seasons, things to help you grow and learn. But eventually it'll be other things that we'll be talking about. Signs of the times, seasons in politics, like all types of things. And so this first season, we'll call it, is just personal self-growth and awareness. That's not to say we won't double back to some of these topics, but right now that's, the first couple, by couple I mean like 15 weeks, is going to be this kind of self-growth, self-help, self-development information, just so you kind of know where we're going. But anyway, so good intentionality. So good intentionality comes from good choices, good motivations, good intentions. True. But it is the output. It's not the input, it's the output, right? And so how do we have good intentionality? Well, now that you're aware that there's a difference and there's a thing and there's, intentions versus intentionality, it comes to like, say what you mean and mean what you say. But more than that, do what you say, right? You've heard, and I'm not the first to say this, I don't know where it even came, but it's the old adage, actions speak louder than words, right? That's intentionality versus intention. Your words are your intention. Oh, well, I can help you with the dishes. Your intentionality is actually helping with the dishes, right? So nobody wants lip service. And nowadays, I think more than ever, we really want authentic leaders. We're so tired of inauthentic, disingenuine, morally bankrupt, spiritually corrupt people. We're so tired of it, I think. And I think more than ever, there's a call for authenticity. And sort of to be authentic, you have to carry through with what you say you're going to do. Intentionality is doing what you say you're going to do. That's really what it comes down to. So when I say, oh yeah, I'll be there, I'm there. When I say, yeah, I'll help you with that, I will help you with that. When I say, call me anytime you want, I will pick up the phone when they call. We have a whole bunch of people who have good intentions and no intentionality. So they'll say like, oh yeah, anything you need, just let me know. And then you let them know and they're like, crickets, like, where are they? And you're like, I don't know, right? We have to be people of intentionality. And that is to say we keep our word by doing what we say we're going to do. And sometimes that's hard. Do you know why it's hard to have intentionality? I will tell you. Because we have feelings. And feelings a lot of times are the antithesis of intentionality. That's kind of what it comes down to, is I don't really feel like doing that. And if it's not something like work, where you don't have really a choice, you have to go into work, you need a livelihood, right? If it's something like helping your mom because you said you would, you're like, I don't really feel like doing that. Did you say you were going to do it? Then get to going, because intentionality means you're going to do what you said you were going to do. And I'm not saying, not saying things don't come up. They do. They do. Of course they do. But I am saying that we have a culture now of people who lack intentionality, who lack meaning what they say, saying what they mean, and doing what they say. We lack it. We really do. And so if you're watching this, maybe you are someone who A, does that. I really believe that these videos sort of find you. So if you're listening to this, it might mean you need it. I know I need it. I think everybody needs it. We can all be better. We can all do better. I don't think anybody 100% of the time is like, oh, I'm literally always doing the right thing and saying the right thing. Check that off. Like, I know of one person that did that, and it's Jesus. Like, the rest of us, we're just kind of wandering around hoping we do it right. And so I think intentionality is a thing to be really aware of, because you kind of hold yourself accountable, which I'm sure you're not surprised, we've talked about. Accountability, I know this is happening every week and I'm sure you're tired of it, but these concepts do build on each other, right? So if you're making good choices and you're being accountable for those choices and you have good control over yourself, then you get to good intentionality. It's not subtle. I'm not doing that by accident. This is planned. I have a lot of forethought that goes into everything we're doing here. So intentionality is really important. Because it just, not only does it make you a better person, which is always the goal, right? It's always the first step, is trying to be your best self. But when you're your best self and you're pouring out from a cup that's half full or mostly full, as opposed to most of us who are pouring out from cups that are half empty or completely empty, which I've been there and I've done that. And actually we'll talk about that next week when we talk about energy. But I know I'm dropping it earlier than I usually do, but whatever. But yeah, so when we are pouring from a cup that's full, we have good intentionality, then we're just in better relationship with people. We can help people out more. We can actually be there for people. Because a lot of the time, why our intentionality is bad is because we're exhausted. We're not pouring from a cup half full. We're running around all the time doing all these things for everybody else. So when we say like, oh yeah, I'll do this thing, it's an empty promise because I don't have enough to give. I don't have anything left to give you. I wish I did, right? That's why, being self-aware is super important, because when we know when we've kind of hit our limit, we can say, we can hold ourselves accountable, and we can say, you know what, I would love to help you, but I just can't. Not this time. I'm sorry. Right? That's an authentic, you can say no. You should say no to some things. But when you say yes to things, you had better show up. And I mean, show up with a good attitude, which is another topic for another day, which I know, don't get me started on it now, but I will just say, intentionality is not showing up and doing the thing you said you would with a crap attitude. I'm working on that one. A lot of times I'll tell Thomas, and I'll be like, yeah, let's do it. Like, I don't really want to, but I'm doing it for you. And then I show up like miserable. And he's like, why are you even doing this thing? And I'm like, good point. My attitude's crap, right? That's not intentionality. You know, intentionality is doing a thing that you said you were going to do or you plan to do with a good attitude about it, right? And I like to give you those little formulas. If you looked at the blog last week, I gave you a formula for control there. But it is that idea of, you know, showing up plus good attitude equals intentionality. That's really what it comes down to. So your attitude when you're doing these things that you said you would do is just as important as being there and doing it. Maybe even more, honestly, because you showing up to a place and making it, again, like I told you, I've done all this the hard way, and I'm just trying to get the right way. So don't think of it as me preaching to you, because Lord knows I am not. I'm not perfect. Anybody who knows my rap sheet knows I'm not perfect at all. So, you know what I mean? But I've learned these things. So I'm hoping to help someone else, because what else am I doing then, right? I always want to help. That's just kind of what I have been built for, to help people. So this is me saying I've struggled with this probably just as much as you do. The only difference is I'm aware of it, and maybe you are, maybe you're not. That's really, so this is just me calling to awareness. You do you, you know, this is me calling you to awareness. But yeah, there's a huge difference between intentionality and just showing up. Showing up is like, yeah, I'm here. Yay. Or like, yeah, I'm here. What can I do to help? Right? Like, just like that's huge difference. If someone comes to you and is like, what do you want? You don't want, go away. I don't want anything to do with you. You're bringing my energy down. You're real negative. No, thank you. But if someone comes like, all right, yep, I'm ready. What can I do to help? You're like, oh my God, just everything. I'm so overwhelmed, right? So we like intentional people. We can trust intentional people. People who have intentionality. Intentions also are like a thing that no one knows about. No one knows your intentions. But people can see your intentionality. That's the different state of being, right? People can see it. People don't know your intentions. People don't know your motivations. People don't know the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. But if you do have good intentions and you also have good intentionality, it's not about knowing better, it's about doing better. It's about being better. Lesson again that I learned the hard way, which again, I will talk about another time. I'm always talking about things at other times, so tune in. Make sure you're tuning in. So, long, short, let's wrap it up here. Got new glasses today, guys. Do you like them? I do. They're blue light. Okay, sorry. I went to fix. Anyway, so wrapping it up. Intentionality, showing up because you said you would, or because you have to, but mostly because you said you would, with a good attitude, trying to be helpful, trying to be present, right? Dr. Brené Brown, love Dr. Brené Brown, talking about showing up, being present, you know, not being overbearing, just being present, being there. So important for your relationships, for yourself. Like, show up for yourself, right? You're worth that. You know, when you say, oh, I'm gonna like start working out, good intention. Are you doing it? Do you have intentionality? I did work out today, by the way. I did. I owed it to myself, right? I knew I owed it to myself. And that's the thing. When you know your self-worth, week 2, when you know your self-worth, you know what you deserve, what you're worthy of. And I'm worthy of a workout. I'm worthy to sweat my butt off and lose some pounds and be my healthiest self, my strongest self, right? You're worth it too. You're worth everything. I mean, Jesus died to save you. You're worth everything. I'm not trying to get Christian on you here, but can't help it. So you're worth it, and you're worth showing up, and someone else is worth you showing up. You have no idea the difference you can make in an event, especially if you say you're going to be there. You coming versus you not coming might make someone's day or ruin it. You know what I mean? So come, show up with a good attitude, do what you say you're gonna do, and keep being intentional and have good intentionality. And if you like what we're doing here, subscribe. Remember, 100 subscribers to get a not specific, a custom URL. Really want that. So if you like what we're doing, subscribe, tell your friends. You never know who's going to need some of this stuff. I need all of it, all the time, always. I learn more talking to you than I do in my daily life a lot of times, just because I'm thinking about these topics. So subscribe, like. If you have any comments, sure, leave them. And only positive stuff, remember, or like helpful stuff. We don't need any negative energy here. Energy's next week. Tune in if you like that kind of information. And I'll see you then. Bye, guys.